Hey guys, and welcome back with Talks with Tasha, bringing you all the tea. Make sure to follow my TikTok, also follow my Instagram, and also make sure to follow my Spotify. Go stream it and listen to the podcast on there. The full episodes are always available on my Spotify. Hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye. Hi guys,
Hey.
It's TashaC, and welcome back again to my podcast, guys. Welcome to another podcast episode with Talks with Tasha. In today's episode, I've got a really special guest with me here, guys, and I'm going to introduce her in a second. But first of all, I want to say thank you guys so much for the support with all my podcasts, and thank you for tuning in, listening on Spotify, Instagram, TikTok. All the support is always appreciated, guys. So guys, today I have a really special guest, and the topic is obviously about mental health and growing up as an influencer in this generation, which I briefly touched on with Harrison, but I wanted to dive deeper again with another part 2. So mainly focusing on mental health. So guys, I really want to introduce a very special guest, Vanessa.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much for being here today. Honestly, I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
How are you been?
I'm good, thank you.
You're good. Have you done a podcast recently?
I did some a few months ago, so I haven't done one in a while. So
Okay, something special,
little comeback just for Tasha. Yeah.
Grabbed her as soon as I could. So Vanessa, introduce yourself. Tell us what you do, what you study, and also what you do outside of school. Just give us like a whole briefing about you.
Okay, a whole rundown.
Yeah.
So I'm Vanessa. Hi.
Hi, Vanessa.
I'm 16 years old and I do public speaking. I'm also a presenter, an actress. I do content creation as well, and I'm currently studying media business in my college, so I'm kind of hoping to go into a marketing route academically, but then also building my personal brand on the side as well, and I've been doing that for the last 7 years since I was 9 years old, so yeah.
Oh, 7 years.
Yeah, very
That's
long.
That's crazy,
Yeah.
though. That's like a long time. Like, you've been in the game, like, oh my days. So do you enjoy it?
Yeah, definitely.
How did it all start? Like, how did it all happen?
So we went to like this inspirational seminar event, and my mum's a single mum, so I went everywhere with her because she isn't always going to get babysitted, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I went everywhere with her, and this event was specifically for parents to come to the event with their kids, and there was like a lot of stalls there, kind of similar to what they're doing that downstairs.
Yeah.
And it was like entrepreneurs there was like a kid YouTuber there, so it's like very eye-opening for me to go into that environment, being like, these are all the different career paths I could take, kind of thing. And then one of the speakers who was obviously doing a speech there, I was following on social media at the time, like on Facebook basically, and that was like the most like biggest thing to me because I just saw him as a celebrity, and then we met him and he was like, Vanessa, come on stage with me, and I was like, no thank you. I was like, oh no, I don't want to do that, because I feel like even now, even though I've grown a lot in my confidence, I still can be very introverted, so at that point in my life I was like, that's like one of the scariest things I could do, but luckily I was like, you know what, it's okay. My mum was like, you don't need to do like a massive speech, just go up there and do your thing, kind of thing, which I didn't know what was my thing at that point, but yeah, I went on stage, some affirmations, and I was like, okay, get me off stage.
I'm tired now.
Yeah, and then after I got off stage, a lot of people in the audience came up to me saying how much it helped them, and I was just really shocked because I was like, this was just what came at the top of my head, kind of thing, and then ever since then I was like, maybe this is something I could do, because I always wanted to help people but I didn't know how to, and even though I was introverted, I spoke a lot, so I was like, what other way can I make a living in the future, or starting now at that point, by talking and helping others. And then ever since then started going to loads of events, like way too many events, networking with people, opened up my social media accounts, and just kind of started to pick up from there, and here we are today.
Here we are in the present.
That was quite a long rundown, but you get the gist.
That's sick. No, I love that for you. Like, obviously, you came from, like, you started when you're so young, and now look at you, like, you're growing on it. And to think it all started from just that one person that said, oh, no, you should, like, go on stage.
Yeah, exactly.
It's actually crazy.
Yeah.
And you are quite introverted. Like, obviously, I would say I'm an extroverted person. So,
we're
different. We're very different. Because, like, if I was, like, in a group, I'll be the one leading the conversation. I feel like you'll be the one that's like,
I just observe,
I
just listen. add in a little input here
Yeah,
and there.
she adds in her little 1-2s, but she's not the loudest person. But obviously, like, from your social media, you would obviously think that, like, she's loud.
That is like quite a common thing, I feel like, because when you are a presenter, or if you want to go into public speaking, whatever it is, something that includes you being your own brand, basically, like your voice, personality, so on and so forth. Like, a lot of that is expected to be like, you need to have a really extroverted personality, which I do agree with to an extent. Like, some people you just wouldn't want to watch if they didn't make you laugh, or if they didn't engage you somehow. But then also nowadays, like, there are different forms of, I guess, personal brands that aren't as like big and bold as we're used to, or like standards that we're used to as well. So yeah, I would say I'm quite a big introvert, but when I go on stage, something just unleashes and I talk. So I don't know.
It's the
I
talent.
can't explain it. Yeah.
It's the talent coming out. Oh my days, we love that for you. So obviously social media is a huge thing. How do you like keep that balance between like your social media life and like your life outside of social media? Like, is it like everything you do you post, or is there some things that you actually keep private to yourself that social media don't know, or it's just like everything is on social media? Because it is hard, because you are an influencer, you are expected to like post regularly and keep updating your story and stuff, but like, how do you have that balance with just like, okay, no social media now, it's time to live in the moment type thing?
Yeah, really good question. I would say when it comes to like balancing like college work and like, I'm just gonna say this way. When it comes to like balancing college work and like, I don't know if I need to edit something or post something, whatever it is, or go to an event of some sort, I would say that is more difficult. Because it's just a lot to like, because I've always been like, hey, you need to have a to-do list. Like, that's my thing. Like, my to-do lists are ridiculous, but it's like, okay, what's my top priority? What do I need to do on this day, that day? But then when those two priorities clash, it's like, okay, what do you do now? So when it comes to things like that, it does become difficult, because then you kind of need to juggle both at the same time, and it does get very stressful. And I'm quite a stressed person in general, so when things get stressful, it's just like too overwhelming for me.
Like, what do you mean by that? Like, things just affect you like easily, like?
Yeah, I feel like if I have like a list of things I need to do, like, it just suddenly piles up and it's just like too much to think about, which is why I need to have everything written down all the time. So I do get overwhelmed.
I'm such
very
a
easily.
visual learner. Like, I need to like see what I'm doing. Do you get what I mean? Or it won't get done.
Or if I'm super tired, my mom was like, "Oh, don't forget about this one." I'm just tell me in the morning, because like my head is thinking of a million other things right now. Do you know what I mean? So it's definitely that. But when it comes to like sharing things online, I would say I'm pretty good with like keeping things private, because I am underage, it's really important to have that additional layer of safety as well. Like, my mum monitors all my accounts and stuff, because that's kind of like, she's like, we're the team together, she's like my mummager in a sense. So that's basically how it does work. So when I was a lot younger, it's like, when people ask you what school do you go to, just don't answer the question. Like, that's not the information they need to know, kind of thing. Like, things like that are just like, obviously quite literally personal to you and private to you. It's like, you don't have to share that across online. Like, you can share your experiences and how your day went at school, but you don't have to share what school you went to, who's your teacher's name, who's in your class, kind of thing. So that was a lot when I was younger. I think now, some things I do keep private, some things I probably, like, looking back on it now, I probably could have shared some things. Then also, like, in a sense, when it comes to social media, I'm the most spontaneous when it comes to posting. So if I do feel like in a moment, I'm like, actually, you know what, I do want to share that. I do want to feel vulnerable with my followers or the people who follow me. Then I'll post about this or what happened to me or so and so. But then sometimes I'm just like, no, like, if I don't feel comfortable with sharing it, then I don't feel pressured to do so, which I quite like, because I think with other creators, when you also have much bigger platforms, like, I'm very grateful that I do have the platform that I do have, but it's nowhere near like the creators who are blowing up immediately on TikTok and things like that. So I think when it comes to people who have bigger platforms, I think maybe their fans are more endearing on them sharing more. So I feel like for me, because it's a bit smaller, it gives me the freedom to choose what I want to post. And also, it's your own platform. So if you want to post whatever, then you should have control over that. You shouldn't feel pressure.
Yeah, I feel like, no, that's so true. Like, touching on what you said before, the bigger you're following, the more intense it gets. Like, everything on social media gets worse the more you grow. Like, when you start making money out of it, when you start earning a living out of it, that's when you know what I mean, that's when you're actually like doing well and people are like,
Yeah.
people are clocking on. Like, have you heard the phrase like, if you ain't got haters then you ain't popping?
Yeah.
That just shows that like, if you're not got people, when you start getting those trolling messages, that's when you know you're hitting the 100,000 Ks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's when it's like, oh, that's when the pressure gets really like a lot.
That's when the pressure gets worse.
Yeah. The pressure
is getting worse. Yes.
It's getting worse. No, honestly, for real. Because I feel like when that time hits, it's just like, oh, like this is when it's like, oh, this is for real now. Do you get what I mean? Because obviously me, I recently just came into the social media game. Like I was actually not even gonna do this. Like obviously I started YouTube as like a little, you know, just a little fun thing. I thought, you know, it was like lockdown. It was literally when lockdown was ending, because the whole of lockdown I was overthinking, and I was like, should I start? No, yes, no, yes.
I think a lot of people are like that as well. Yeah, because you just like, what else are you gonna do when you sit at home? Like just start a social media account, film whatever you want, because that's when you literally had the most time to do anything, really.
And everybody was on their phones. And there's a thing where it's like everybody, so many people blew up from lockdown. Like obviously this is just somebody I know, but even like A Smalls, MK Frey, all these like UK YouTubers, they all blew up TikTok on lockdown. TikTok was going crazy. The amount of creators that came up, like everybody was blowing up. But yeah, for me it's just a thing where it's like, when I started YouTube, it was like, okay, cool, I've started this platform because, you know, I just want to have a little fun with it. And then as I carried on, I was like, okay, I actually really enjoy talking to the camera. Because like, I think I said this in one of my other podcasts, but since I was little, I always loved talking to the camera. Like sometimes I'll just pull my phone out and just be like, hi guys, so it's Tasha. And I was even telling Harrison, I had a Tasha's vlogs on Snapchat, and I'll just be like, hey guys, welcome back.
Private story.
Private story. And it was like during secondary school times, and all my friends were like, Tasha, you better start that YouTube channel. I was like, guys, no. Like, Tasha,
and then she finally did it.
And then I finally did it. And you can imagine the response was amazing. So I wasn't ever thinking of like going deep into social media. But like from when I came, that's when I was like, okay, I could see this as a career. And that's when I was like, okay, let me actually try and take this a bit more seriously. And that's when I'm like, okay, I'm trying to do like, okay, you know, starting this podcast, for example, was something that I'm taking to the next level now, because I'm actually trying to take this, like, you know what I mean, seriously. So I kept on like, that I would say like from not even September, because September I came to, it was a good school, but I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, like presenting and stuff like that. But I would say like from like January after Christmas, I was like, no, I want to I want to start something. I want to start,
get the ball rolling.
2023 was a new year. I was like, no, I need to start something. I need to kick this off to the next level. Do you get what I mean? And that's when I started social. I said, no, let me actually try and like, you know, take my social media more seriously. Like obviously it's hard. Like you can't just wake up and say, oh yeah, I want 1,000 followers and get 1,000 followers. I'm still not on 1,000 followers on Instagram, so it's not something that's just like, oh yeah, I want to be in social media influencer, wake up on social media. No. But obviously it's like, now I've got the mindset that I'm willing to put in the work to get there. It's a whole nother, you know, it's a whole nother board game, because now it's like, oh, and then you actually see it working. Like even though my audience is nothing like yours, my audience is very, very small. Like
but these are dedicated, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like even sometimes I'll get like one message from someone, it's like, oh my days, your podcast really helped me, and I really appreciate. Isn't that the best thing to hear? Like I love that so much, and I feel like it's so important, and that's why I do what I do, innit? To like be able to just come on like a social media platform and just inspire people. I love that. Like do you get what I mean? Like it's just like
helping people.
Exactly. It just hits different. Do you get what I mean? But yeah, like for you, obviously social media, and then you obviously have like what I said, mental health, which is what we're also going to be touching on. Like obviously I feel like mental health, like, okay, what's your definition of mental health? Not to put you on the spot, I know that's just like I don't know if I'll be able to answer that question. I just like slid it onto you. I was like, none of that for me.
I feel like it, like the definition of mental health has changed for me like throughout the years, just because like you just experience different things through life as well. I think everybody has a mental health because we all have something going on mentally, and that's not always necessarily a negative thing. Because I feel like maybe 2019, right before lockdown hit, mental health was starting to kind of get advocated more, and then 2020 was like everyone was posting about it, because that's when it was most
after Black Lives Matter and everything like
most
that,
relevant, and everyone's staying at home. Like people really just were very isolated as well. So I feel like because of that, it has had a negative connotation towards it. But I think my version of mental health is how you react to things, how you feel about things, like as an individual without anyone else's like input or like influence on it, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like kind of waffling because I'm trying to think of something, but I
feel like it's a hard question. Yeah. Like mental health, can be seen so differently to different people, because I feel like everybody looks at it in like a different way.
Definitely.
So even if you search the Google definition, that's why I didn't. Yeah. Because I just feel like it's just going to give me one definition, but that's not for everybody else, and we can't really say.
It's individual.
Do you get what I mean? It's how you feel. But like you said, I literally agree with that. It's how you feel individually, like your own emotions. I feel like that links a lot to like mental health and stuff like that. Do you get what I mean? And obviously, if you don't mind me asking, like, would you say that your mental health is on the right track, or have you been through any stages in life where it's like that? Have you been through any stages in life where it's like it's really knocked down your, you know, your confidence, or like because of social media, your mental health has become, you know, a bit talk us through that, like how your mental health has been.
How has my mental health been? I would say, like when I was mentioning earlier with me not sharing something on social media, I think that kind of ties in with it as well. Because I think of my stress levels, like, or being stressed like quite often, like obviously that's very unhealthy. Do not recommend it. You should definitely find a healthier mechanism than just writing to-do lists, because it doesn't do enough. But I used to get like really bad panic attacks.
Oh, seriously?
But not even like, I guess stress triggered it a little bit, but I used to get really bad panic attacks because of something that happened at school. And that was just like really like triggering for everything. So like, I'm not going to go into it because I don't think it's fair to like mention it on the podcast, but an incident happened that is very traumatizing for everyone who was we weren't a part of it, but everyone who witnessed it. So you'd hear like an ambulance and you just feel triggered, like things like that. It was very bad. So then every time it's just like the topic was brought up, I would get like a really bad panic attack, and I think that kind of rooted my, I guess, anxiety into other things. So when I got really stressed, I started to panic. When I had like a mental breakdown because I was stressed, I started to be like, oh my god, I'm not real, and then you just start like getting it's not like anyone who has had a panic attack, like I don't even think mine have been like as worse as why I hear other people describing it as, but it really does feel like you're not breathing, like it's horrible.
Is it?
I don't get them anymore, actually. I haven't had a panic attack in a while, which is good.
That's really good.
But yeah, I didn't really mention that on social media just because it would include the explanation that I didn't want to explain, if that makes sense as well.
Like, you know, that event that led to that's something that you were not going to post on your social media.
Yeah, I didn't. I literally just was like, I didn't even mention I was going to, like, I probably was like not posting for like a week or and a half or something until I just posted like, hey guys, I'm back. Didn't have to explain anything because, as I said before, didn't have to explain everything to people. And then like last year when I was doing GCSEs and we were like doing our FMPs and stuff, my cat suddenly died. And that was horrendous. So I did share that on social media, but I was basically like, I took a break for a bit of time just to not post and not think about it, because I was just like in a really, really bad place after that, because that was like my support animal. Like my cat got me through the bad mental health days.
Seriously.
So when like she passed away, like very suddenly, and I was just in the midst about to do my exams and stuff, I was like, how am I going to do this without my support animal, basically? So it wasn't,
that's a lot.
It was very bad timing.
Yeah, that's a toll on you, especially after straight after that.
Absolutely. So dealing with the grief and it was just bad. But there have been other moments where maybe I think this year I have been in quite a bad place. I do have quite like bad, I would probably say depressive episodes, I'd say. But yeah, just gotta get the help you need. I have done counselling and I am still kind of getting into counselling again. So good. Whatever people have access to, I do recommend to find some way to express how you're feeling, because it is really important. But yeah, 100%. I just don't share that much of it on social media because I don't share things that I don't understand, and if I don't understand what's going on in my brain, I'm not going to explain it to people for them to kind of follow on with. Like if I say to them, oh, like something's happened to me and I don't know how to deal with it, then how are people meant to turn to me for advice? So it's just kind of like, until I know what's going on in my brain, then I can explain to you what's going on in my brain, kind of thing.
Because that goes along really well with social media influencer. As an influencer, you're meant to influence people. What you post, what you say is going to stay with them, or they're going to take it and run with it. And if you're now saying this and you don't even know what it means, and they're taking that, they're taking the wrong information, they're running away with the wrong things, and that's really, really toxic, isn't it? Like we hate influencers that don't influence. Like
the whole de-influencing trend was quite funny as well. But
wait, what was that? No, I don't.
People are like, hey guys, this is my de-influencing video. These are the makeup products that I recommend you don't buy. So it was like people kind of saying like, don't be like, in a way it's very contradictory, because if you're saying de-influencing, you're still influencing someone to not buy something. So either way, you're still impacting someone.
Either way, it's just like,
people, there's just trends that come and buy it every day now. So I just like to give them a little honorable mention here and there.
No, honestly, I touched on mental health because it's something that I do want to talk about a bit on my podcast episodes, because obviously I started this podcast talking about like growing up as like a dark-skinned girl, because obviously I wanted people to like get to know like me for me, not just the happy Tasha that like is portrayed every single day, because I'm always smiling, apparently I'm always doing this, I'm always doing that.
Genuinely, she is like that when we see her around school. Like every time you say hello to us and you go, I'm just like, she's just so like, just such a ray of sunshine, like just so bubbly. Like
I get that all the time, and it's just like, I feel like people sometimes don't get to see the you know, the side of Tasha that's just more like, you know, it's not the best, you know what I mean? Because we're all human, we're all gonna have our bad days, we're all gonna have our good days, we're all I mean, you must be a robot if you're constantly happy in life, because trust me, it's not gonna happen.
And even if you're happy all the time, it just kind of, it's just like, it must be boring, because then if you're always happy, then you can't really enjoy the moments when you like are happy. Like if you have bad days and then you have really good days, then you appreciate the good days more, because you've had those bad days to
I get what you're saying.
Whereas if you're always in cloud nine, like if you think your favorite influencer's always doing the best, then, or you're jealous of their lifestyle or whatever they've achieved, just think about like, if their life was really like that, like social media is a highlight reel. Like we only, like, even if you're being vulnerable, you probably take a few selfies of you crying, as embarrassing as it sounds, but then you pick the best photo of you crying because you want to look cute while you're crying to post about mental health. It doesn't make any sense, you know what I mean? So even if people are being vulnerable, they're still doing some sort of filtered vulnerability.
You get what I mean? Like,
because when everything comes in, it's like you still filter vulnerability, which is a big thing. And I really like that I said that, filter vulnerability. That's going to become a new speech topic in my next talk. But yeah, basically that is a really huge thing. And yeah, it just comes down to just really being like, well, if I don't have these bad days, then how am I going to appreciate the really great ones?
Yeah, like going back to what you said about like, obviously when you're on social media, people are only posting, I talked about this with Harrison, their best bits. Like social media is not reality. Like, and you got to understand the difference. And as I'm now stepping into this new world, it's a lot, because it's like sometimes I really got to say, okay, I'm putting my phone away and I just want to watch Netflix, even though I'm still doing something that's still like, you know, watching something, but it's not like social media, it's not like Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not constantly looking at people, because even like scrolling on Instagram sometimes it's like, oh, it's too much, because you're thinking, oh, why isn't my life like this? Because you're probably scrolling on Instagram when you're in bed tired and you're thinking, I wish I could be on holiday right now. Babe, do you know how long they were planning for that holiday?
Exactly.
Do you know how much money they put into it? Do you know if they still have money after that holiday? Like, you don't really...
Do you know if the holiday went well? Like, you know what I mean? They could have lost their luggage and you're sitting at home with all your clothes. So be grateful for the situation that you might be in. Like,
do you get what
you really
I mean?
Never know what people are doing behind closed doors. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like my most important thing to me as like an influencer or coming into like this new world is like, make sure that I'm not mixing the both and like kind of like put in this fake life style, because like I feel like on YouTube, obviously that's why I love YouTube, because I feel like you can really show like a vlog, like you can show the bad bits.
It's long form content, you can share as much as you want, and it's up to you.
And I feel like that's why TikTok is also going up as well, because it's like people are not always just posting the best things on TikTok nowadays. Like it's not always just when you look good. Now it's like, oh, it's like a day in the life vlog, like a quick one, or like it's like something story times as well, or like you know what I mean? It's just things that seem more normal and natural. Whereas like on like Instagram, I'm saying Instagram specifically because I feel like that's like the highlight reel, like what you just described. I literally thought Instagram because it's like people are posting their best pictures. The editing that went behind the pictures, do you know how long she was trying to make that cheek look really curved? Do you know how no, do you get what I mean? So I feel like it's so important to just really realize when it's real life time and when it's social media time. And the thing I feel like people don't get about influencers, like, we only post what we want you to see.
Exactly.
I feel like people think, oh, what do you think about when people say like, oh, like, you know, do you actually have a life like outside your, you know, social media and stuff? Like, they feel like they know you. That's what I mean, like, because if you don't post with this person, you're not friends with them type thing. Do you ever go through those type of things? Do you post your friends a lot? Not like on your main...
No, I feel like also because like when we don't wear uniform in school, like I take more photos, so then I post more on my stories because we're not like flashing our lanyards basically. But yeah, I do post. I mean, I try to as much as I can really, but then also when you jump into it too fast, it kind of feels like you could be giving other people the wrong impression in a sense, like, oh, I just became friends with you and you're getting like clout, whatever it is, like, you know, inverted commas kind of thing. But yeah, I think before maybe I was like, oh, I don't really need to, and then now I'm just like, yeah, it just shows you being a normal teenage girl. So if you want to post your friends or you want to post what you're doing,
know what I mean?
Go for it.
And just because I haven't posted, I'm going to say a random name, just because I haven't posted keyboard in 3 weeks doesn't mean me and keyboard aren't still friends. I said keyboard because there's a keyboard in front of me, guys. Like, honestly though, like, it's like, I feel like with stepping into this new social media world, I feel like I'm being watched, with everything I do. And it's like, chill, guys, we're all human at the end of the day. Do you get what I mean? But obviously, I love it. I love being able to influence people. Like I said, like, getting those little, like, compliments about, like, oh, my days, you know, your podcast really helped me. It's the best thing, like, the best feeling to me, I feel like. Can you relate to that with, like, your public speaking and stuff like that? You must impact so much people.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's kind of why I got into it. I think especially when it comes with speaking, like, it's a very selfless job that you need to kind of get into, and you need to remove any kind of judgments you have towards yourself as well. And I think when it comes to speaking on stage and just kind of letting people judge you the way they would naturally, it does take quite a lot, because obviously you're just there to help, but people take it in various different ways. As we say, with mental health, people interpret things very differently, because we are all individuals. So I definitely do think when it comes to speaking, I forgot the question, sorry.
Like when you're doing your public speaking, does it like help people and influence people?
Oh yes. So when it comes to speaking, it's definitely like the reason why I started was to help other people. So it feels very rewarding to put yourself out there and get something back.
Amazing
and that's why I always say, like, even if I go and speak at a small group of people, if it's like 30 people and it's like a private club or private event, and then there's just a fewer people, you still have some sort of reach, whether compared to speaking to 30 people or like 1,000 people. Do you know what I mean? As long as you're impacting at least one person, you've done your job right, because you're putting yourself out there as much as you can and you're trying to make your message land. And that's why I say it's such a selfless job, because I feel like there are different genres of speakers. Like, obviously I'm a public speaker, but I'm mainly a motivational speaker. That's why I went into first of all. But then you have like finance speakers, or you have like very corporate speakers who only speak at those business, finance, corporate events, which is also what I'd like to go into as well, because you can teach people in any industry kind of thing. But when it does come to that, a lot of it is about pitching something or offering the audience something, which is in a sense benefiting the audience if they choose to get whatever program that person might be pitching to them. But when it comes to really wanting to put yourself out there as much as possible for the audience, it is about being selfless, because it's not about you. It's never about you. So even if you are nervous, it's just like, this isn't about me being nervous, it's about who I can reach over my nerves kind of thing. So it's definitely something that you learn a lot during it. So it's definitely got some
motivational speaking going on right now. I'm getting motivated. I'm sitting here like, yes, that's the talk. No, because honestly, I feel like a lot of the times we're in such a self-centered world where it's like everybody's thinking about themselves. Like, even when you're walking down the street thinking everybody's staring at you. But no, everybody's thinking that themselves. So now everybody's just walking down the street thinking we're all staring at each other. It's just
that is so true. That is actually so true.
Like everybody's so focused on themselves.
But also you can use that like to benefit yourself as well. Like whenever someone says to me like, oh, I'm really like nervous about doing this or something, like someone asks me a question or advice on something, and I'm just like, well, like because we are all like, even though I say like when it comes to speaking you need to be very selfless, because I do obviously I've been doing speaking for 7 years, so clearly I'm doing something right. But when it comes to being like an actual person, like when it comes to like academic work, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm the best. Like oh no, like I'm literally like the smartest person in the room, which is not true. Like I mean, true? I don't know, but like you know when people you just like. I think we all just have like naturally quite big egos anyway, but some people just acknowledge it more than others. I don't know. But it is like sometimes I think when you're just a little bit delusional and you're like, no, I can definitely like do this when you have like no skills or strategy to achieve whatever you're thinking of kind of thing. But when it does come to like being selfish or other people just being in their own worlds, it's like people only care about themselves and no one's noticing whether you do something. So speak to that person, wear what you want, do what you want, you know what I mean? So it does come to the fact like when everyone says like, oh, what if so and so is gonna notice this or whatever it is, it's just like everyone cares too much about themselves to notice what you're doing.
Trust me.
So
like, I remember I said this in my first podcast with Kaya, like live life like nobody's watching, because nobody's watching you.
No. Unless you try and make yourself seen, whatever you do that benefits you, trust me, people do not care. Like people do not care.
Do what makes you happy at the end of the day. Do you get what I mean? Because that's all that matters. Like it's not about how you're being perceived or how you think other people look at you.
If it's not negatively impacting anyone's life, then go and do whatever you want. And if someone claims that it's negatively impacting their life, then they need to get out your business.
Do you get what I mean?
Maybe their lives
you in my business?
Maybe
you in my business? Don't do that.
No. But maybe some people's lives, they just don't have enough going on. They have to reach into other people's
Do you get what I mean?
lifestyles.
That's when you meet toxic people. And that's why if you guys haven't watched me and Renee's podcast, go watch that, because we talked so much about toxic friendships and people, or listen to that because it might be an audio one, but we talked so much about it and it was so beneficial, because it was just like, you got to know your self-worth.
Absolutely.
And like in this life, don't let people push you around. Like you are worth so much, you know what I mean? And it just kind of links to this, like know your worth, do what you want to do, live life how you want to live. Do you get what I mean? Because at the end of the day, nobody is watching.
Make that YouTube channel, make that podcast, go and ask if you want to do a presentation at school. Do you know what I mean? Like
start doing public speaking.
You do, like I'm always just like, YOLO guys, but like genuinely you only live once. Like I was deep in this, like, you know when you're just like sitting in your room and you can't fall asleep and you just start having like these really deep thoughts, and it's like genuinely I only live once, so like why am I not doing this? Or why am I waiting for the right time to do something? Like I'm reading a really good book right now called Atomic Habits. I recommend this book to everyone. I'm only like 60 pages in, but already one of my favorite books I've ever read. It's so good. It's about like making these small habits that make massive changes. And it's about like how we always say, okay, I want to work out, but then you don't say the date or time you want to work out. Do you know what I mean? Or I want to achieve this business, but then once you do reach a certain amount of sales in your business, you've got nothing else to achieve afterwards. It's about working empty, it's about working as a productive person so that you achieve more goals above that. It's hard to explain like in a grasp of it, but it's a really good book. So whilst reading that, I was like, you really do only live once, so why am I waiting for the right time to do something? You dictate the right time for you. So it's not about that right timing, it's just about like just do it. Not sponsored by Nike, but just do it. You know what I mean?
So, as I was saying, like, you know, you got to live life and nobody's watching. That's really like the conclusion of that, isn't it? All right, cool. So, the next thing is, what would you say are your pros and cons to being like an influencer in this like, you know, generation and this time? What are like the good things that come out of it, and like the little things that are just like, well, obviously that affected me, but I gotta get this content out, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. What are yours?
Pros, I would be, it's a great like life learning lesson to kind of live through. Obviously I've been doing it for 7 years, but that's not my whole life, but it does feel like it's been my whole life since I can remember kind of doing it. So I would say it's a very big learning curve, and you're constantly learning things, whether that's social media content strategy stuff, or just learning things about yourself, about the way, about the content you want to make, about you maturing as a person. Because obviously starting at 9 years old, and I'm 16 now, I'm going to be 17 in August. So it's like, how do you...
Oh, you're a baby, by the way.
Yeah.
August, you're still 16.
Yeah. And it's like, how do you mature your content from what people know you as to transferring that kind of content style to match where you are in your path in life? Like, for example, like, I don't know, Jojo Seal, for example. Like, obviously, she was doing Jojo Bows and she made massive, like, young entrepreneur, right?
Yeah,
but
she
then,
went big.
Yeah, but then, like, in the last few years, it's kind of been like people really seeing her grow up just like a little bit more, so we can actually see where she is. So it's authentic with where she is in the moment with her life. And I think, obviously, if you want to be as authentic as possible, you can't just keep portraying an image that you no longer relate to. So I definitely think learning stuff is a really big thing, and you just become so much more aware of different things, and you really can implement the things you learn on social media into your own life. Another part, I would say, it's great to just like build your network, like especially when we're going into apprenticeships now. Like, I can say I can name all the skills I have, which I probably wouldn't be able to say or have built the same skill set that I do have if it wasn't for doing social media or public speaking. So it is really big, like, when it comes to standing out, I guess, differently compared to other people. If you're trying to go into a certain industry and you want to kind of see where else you can go, doing social media will allow you to kind of see which path is actually good for you, because you know the skill set that you do have. So I think it's also becoming very, like, aware of who you are as a person and your strengths.
It's just helpful in general, isn't it?
Absolutely.
In like all areas.
Cons, I would say it's just difficult to again, like, juggle school and posting and stuff. It's just very overwhelming. Obviously, it might not be overwhelming for a lot of people, because I think some people might have, I don't have a management, so that if I did have management, it probably would make my life a little bit easier.
Yeah, but your mum is like your manager.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But obviously, when you do have a management, is like they handle all your collaborations and things like that. So obviously, that is not you doing that anymore. Okay. So it does become like the weight off your shoulders rather than searching for it yourself. Independently. So I would definitely say juggling like that kind of organization and balance is difficult. Another con, some things you just have to deliver when you mentally can't deliver. Like, I was so stressed last week for I can't even remember what I was stressed about now, but I just know I was stressed about something. There was just a lot going on, and I literally have like a 2-page to-do list, because I was just like writing everything in my brain. But I was very stressed last week, and then I was just like kind of all over the place, and then I had a self-tape to film. And it's like, why I always say this to my friend who also does self-tapes, I'm like, why, this is for acting, not really social media, but it's like, oh my goodness, why is it every time I get the opportunity to act or do something is the moment where I feel most stressed in life, or the moment where I'm just like, I really want to sit down and do literally nothing. So I think moments like that, it's just like, it's so hard to just have to wait a bit longer. Like, it's so difficult to just sometimes decline your like the need that your mental health has or your well-being has, because you have to get something done. But that's also because of your ambition, and it's like, I'm ambitious to be an actor, I'm ambitious to do a speaking gig, I'm ambitious to work with this brand. So it's like, even if I'm doing bad mentally, I still need to email this person, or I still need to film this, or whatever it is.
That's
so
hard.
It is really difficult to,
that's hard,
despite having to try and prioritize your mental health. Sometimes you like can't, like, obviously you can, but it's like it's a lot of pressure to not do something, because then you look back on it and it's like, actually I could have done that, or actually I could have done this. So it is hard to juggle your past and future self. It's a lot of this, but there are quite a few cons, but as well as that, it's just a great journey to be on, and you're always learning something. That's like the main thing.
I feel like something with like social media and this like industry, you have to love what you do, because if you don't, you can't fake it. Like, I feel like, you know, like people that you can tell, okay, you're doing this now, because obviously everybody knows you can earn a living out of this. Like, you can make a lot of money. You can. So I feel like when you do with that mindset, like, okay, I'm starting a YouTube channel, I'm gonna make millions, and I'm gonna be on top, and I'm gonna be a billionaire, but you don't have love for talking to the camera, You don't have love for, you know, even
teaching someone something.
Do you get what I mean? That nothing brings you joy out of it. It's just you're just waiting until you get the amount of numbers. Your viewers are going to be able to tell because it's
you're
like
not in it for the right reasons, especially.
Do you get what I mean? It's like, okay, now it's so evident that okay, you're trying so hard, and then even if you do get a bit of following, it's like that following is probably because of like the little extra activities you're doing to get you that money. Do you get what I mean? Like it's never genuine. I feel like you can always tell, you like, you can't fake your love for something. Do you get what I mean? Like, even especially with this industry, I don't think you can fake your love for it. Like, I don't really think you can sit down and say, oh yeah, like hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, and today for ever so long.
Yeah, if
like,
you don't enjoy it.
Do you get what I mean? Like, you could do it for a year. Yeah, cool. Yeah, all right. 2 years, you're like, it's getting a bit sticky.
Yeah.
You bring on when it gets to that 3-year mark and you're still on hundreds. Let's say you're even still on like a few hundred subscribers, still not reached that K. But now the monetization is 500, but still, anyways, you still haven't reached that 1,000 subscribers. You're like, I'm still not making money. You're getting impatient. You're like, bun this, I'm done.
Yeah.
They move to something else because obviously they never really had that passion for YouTube in the first place. So it's so easy to just hop onto anything else.
Exactly.
But like, I feel like with this industry, you have to love what you do. So those pros and those cons, the cons never really outweigh the pros. Like, do you get what I mean? Like, it's always like, even though it's hard to balance, or like sometimes I feel like even like doing social media, I was talking to Harrison about this. I feel like sometimes you feel like you can't really get that private life. Like, let's say I wanted to ghost for like 2 months, and just not ghost like completely, but just not be on social media. Just do what I want. Do you get what I mean? Like, just like do what I want, post when I want. Obviously, I'll still post, but just inconsistency. And inconsistency, I don't count that as social media. Like, you're just posting like any other person. You get what I mean? Like, let's say I posted like once every 2 weeks, only when I look good. Like, do you get what I mean? Only when I felt like it. I feel like a lot of people can do that. Like, if you're not a social media influencer, you can post whenever you want. Do you get what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. And I feel like sometimes I do miss that. I do miss not the pressure of like, okay, I have to post this, you know what I mean? Or like, I haven't posted a YouTube video in 2 weeks, like, because time goes quick. Like, you don't even realize, like,
I haven't posted on YouTube in ages. I still have to edit my Mexico vlog, and I went to Mexico in April, guys. It's almost the end of June. Like,
that's ridiculous.
I haven't edited in ages, and I'm still like, it's still my to-do list. Like, you need to edit the vlog, and I'm just like, I haven't done it. So
that's ridiculous. But it's like, you're so busy with like other things, isn't it? Like, you're doing public speaking, acting, YouTube, Instagram. Like, I could never, because YouTube is a lot of work, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, even with me, I was doing YouTube for just like my last 2 years. I think it's been like, this is like my 3rd year, I think, don't hold me. But like, even with the past years, I was just doing YouTube. I found it really, really hard, especially balancing that with GCSEs. I totally forgot about it. I said, I'm done with YouTube for the next 2 months. I'm gonna come back, and that's when I was like, for school, because it's like, I literally, I'm able to, and I'm able to like bring it in with my education, which I thought was like really cool. But anyways, back to what I was saying, it's like, you know, with YouTube, it's like, you can just like be expressive, and it's like, you can be yourself, even though it comes with that hard work. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And also, when it comes to like being in it for the wrong reasons, like something that I used to hear like a lot when I went to like loads of events when I was like first starting out as a speaker. So like, when I say loads of events, it'll be like back-to-back events, like maybe 2 events in a day, like going from one location to the next, and just having an event like every weekend. Sorry, this is a question that just came up. How do your events work before you continue? Like, how did they come up? Like, I remember you went to like a Black Panther screening. Sometimes I repost them on my Instagram. People know they be watching the scene. I recognize her. That's the I repost. So yeah, just explain to us like, how did they work, and then continue. Sorry. So these were like the events I was talking about now is like speaking events, or like like seminars, I guess, like conferences in a sense. The events that I kind of go to now are either for me to speak at, or like the premieres or screenings and stuff. I think the first premiere I went to was like 2018. So I was going to premieres like before it kind of got involved in a lot of influencer culture now. You see TikTokers being presenters, like interviewing the celebrities. You know, it's just becoming a lot more broader in the spectrum. Like, once you get that personality, you really can achieve so much, which is crazy to see how much an impact social media can really make on someone's life. But for the events now, it is like, when I said I don't have a management and stuff, it's basically me and my mum doing a lot of the work. Sometimes it is a lot of just reaching out to people and trying to connect with people and I guess, proving yourself as a person who's worthy to cover the event on social media, or as a person who's like, if you come into this event, I'm going to be like, I'm gonna make the effort, I'm gonna wear a really good outfit and people are gonna notice me, kind of thing. So in a sense, sometimes it does like come externally, so sometimes I do get the invites from people who I maybe not know or I wasn't aware of before, and then another time when it comes to aimed premieres, it's just so much reaching out and branching out to people. So the work still is there, trying to, obviously you only see the nice photos and you only see the Getty images, but you don't see how many emails have been backlogged before that kind of thing. So that's also with social media, you don't show all of it, but that's kind of that in a nutshell. But yeah, with it, like with going to loads of those like conferences and stuff, something that I heard so often was like, find what you love and then monetize it. So if you love baking cakes, then bake your cakes and make a business out of it. Bake your cakes and make a blog, make a book out of it. I don't know, make a TikTok account about it, start making tutorials on YouTube, whatever it is. Find what you love, find what your passion, and then monetize it. Whereas people who work backwards and go in it straight for the money, it's like, okay, I want to make money, I want to monetize this, and I need to make myself love it. Like, you can't make yourself passionate about something, you can't make yourself love something. So we're getting other beats in here, but yeah, so it is really like, you can't go backwards, you can only go forwards, unless you're connecting the dots backwards. But
that's,
you know what I mean?
exactly where I'm coming from. Like, you can't ever force something. But anyways, the last question is, this has been such a good one. I don't want to end, I just want to hear more. I just want more advice.
We talk all the time.
Yeah, we do.
You guys are just getting a good snippet of our conversation.
Yeah, there'll be a part 2. We'll reload it, we'll bring some more advice. But what is, like, rounding this all off? So first of all, let's give free advice to somebody that's going through like really hard time with their mental health. And then let's give advice to somebody that's like, you know, trying to join the social media influencing, you know, field, and like how to get out there and how to bring their stuff out, but also how to not get overwhelmed by all the other challenging sides that come along with it. So let's start from free advice to somebody going through a hard time mentally.
I'd say for anyone who's going through something difficult, and even if it's like, sometimes we don't even know what we are going through. Like when I was saying I didn't even know what I was stressed about last week because I can't think about it. But it did feel very important at the time because my whole life was surrounded by my stress kind of thing. Like big stress bubble kind of thing. But I keep saying kind of thing. I'm going to try and stop saying that. But when it comes to whatever you might be going through, whether you don't know what you're going through, I would say just find some sort of way to express it. Whether that is, if you are a musical person, make a song about how you're feeling, or make a tune that, you know, reflects on the emotion that you're feeling right now if you can't express it verbally. Because I think we were always like, speak to someone who you feel comfortable with. Not everyone has a support system. Not everyone feels comfortable speaking to other people. So when you only give someone the option, like, to speak to someone and they can't do that, or they don't want to do that, then it's like, what else do they do? So just find a way to express yourself. So whether you want to do art, splatter some paint. Like, if you're really angry, splatter some paint on a canvas and see what you create out of it, because then you get a result, and you get a result out of your emotions, and you can kind of see how you feel. Or whether it is, if you are a person who does like writing things down, similar to me as well, like, I really recommend journaling. I need to get back into it myself, but I was really like consistent with it, like kind of last year, I would say. You're just writing down how your day is, even if it's like a chart, like how's my energy level from today, like 1 to 10. So just keeping a track of how you feel as well, just to see it visually in front of you. So just find a way to express how you feel. And if you do have someone you can speak to, if you do have access to counselling, or if you are in the fortunate position to get therapy, if you do need that, then definitely something to consider it, because speaking out your emotions, you understand so much more about yourself when it's not all inside of your head. Like 100%, I would say
100%. Oh, that's such great advice. For like, it's so true. Like, what you were saying about even like expressing yourself, like throwing pain or writing stuff down, you actually get a result from it, and then you can move on from that result. Do you get what I mean? So I feel like that's really good.
Always acknowledge the way that you feel, because then it goes under and we think it's not a big deal, and then next week you get a massive blow up and you're like, why am I frustrated about this? Because you haven't dealt with it properly.
It builds up when you don't deal with it, and it just turns into something bigger bigger. You gotta really cut it down when it comes.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like it's like even when you get like a bite or something, like you gotta start putting medicine on it. You can't just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna forget about this bite and carry on itching. It's gonna get worse. It's just like that.
Exactly.
But anyways, yeah. So free advice, or no, just one advice for somebody that's like wants to come into the influencing, social media and how to deal with it. Obviously.
Yeah. I would say you do need to be very thick-skinned for it because it is a crazy industry, and because so many people are stepping into the social media world, like even more than ever now. I feel like it is very oversaturated. So you do need to find something that is going to make you stand out to everyone else, and you do need to have some sort of niche. I mean, I don't even have a niche because I mean, like my foot is in every industry. I don't even know what my niche is anymore, but it's just, you know what I mean? But if you do really want to take it seriously, just make sure you do enjoy it, and you will learn things along the way. I think definitely have a setup for your consistency is key. Like, imagine yourself as a TV show. Love Island comes out every day apart from the Saturdays, but it always comes out at 9 p.m. So if your YouTube viewers are waiting for you to post at 8 p.m. on a Monday every single week, then please post every week on a Monday.
Yeah,
because that
so
consistency is so true. So you need to build up that kind of thing
so
for
true.
it, and all platforms value that. So if it's in terms of like reach, then learn different things that are actually going to put you on the forefront, that are going to help you be pushed with an algorithm. All these words sound so techy, but once you get into it, you definitely do become a statistic freak, basically, because you start to understand how everything works. But when it comes to actually just enjoying it or just trying to get through it, just network with people, be yourself. If you want to share something, share something. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Don't ever feel like you have to do something. It's just hard to say everything in a nutshell, but just make sure that you enjoy it and you're in it for the right reason. And just do make sure that you're in it for the right reasons, because when you do have those hardships, you need to look back at the reason why you started. And if it's just money, then
you go right
You
back.
kind of just go into a little bit of a 360 feedback loop. So just make sure you are in it for the right reasons, and just trust the process. I say this all the time, trust the process. Timing is everything. Just because somebody else is halfway through the marathon doesn't mean that you can't reach that same length. Do you know what I mean? So there you go. That was a lot, but I believe in you.
I'm gonna listen to this back just to listen to that advice.
Make it your ringtone.
Wake up every day, work
like,
hard.
Hello, believe in yourself.
Believe in you can do this.
Yes.
No, because I feel like it's so important. But like everything we talked about is definitely gonna be something to help somebody, and that's why I do. That's why I love to do this. And you were spitting some facts, girl.
Thank you.
I was like, the motivational speaking is really coming into play. It's giving, as Winnie would say. It's giving.
Yeah.
You know, in Love Island, she got all the girls to do that dance. I just know it.
I love Whitney.
I love her. I could talk about Love Island for ages. Let's not get into that.
Make a whole episode about Love Island.
Yeah, I think I should. I should be like
on it.
A round two with Vanessa about Love Island. Yeah, I'm on that.
Sure. Yeah.
But thank you so much for being on my podcast, Vanessa. I really do appreciate it. Woo!
Woo! Try not to clap.
Yeah. I clapped before, guys, and it made some big squeak in the thing. I was like, let me stop
on
that.
the audio. Yeah.
On the audio, yeah. So let me just, I appreciate that so much. Honestly, it was such a good podcast, and honestly, do you guys like the new setup? I'm feeling it.
Let us know what you think in the comments box. Make sure to give Tasha a review wherever you're listening from, and follow us both on Instagram.
I'm going to put all your Instagram, all your social media on the screen whilst you're talking. Whilst we were even talking about your screen events, I put some pictures.
All the B-roll. You see, this is the
high level content. Yeah, this is a But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this podcast. I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. And if you're listening on audio, make sure to stream it and make sure to subscribe and give all the good feedback. It's going to be on TikTok, Instagram, everywhere. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate this, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next podcast. Bye.
Woo!
Woo!
Oh, that was.
We did